What's up, fight fans? This is Kirk DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Floyd Money Mayweather. Get this. Floyd states this. I think who's the pound for pound best fighter right now is Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is a hell of a fighter, and he reminds me of a young Floyd Mayweather. Even though he was older and I was much younger by the time he started getting his props, but he can fight his ass off. And if he ever wants to get to the next level, I would love to work with him. Those are the words of Floyd Money Mayweather. And the magnificence of this is Floyd is co-signing Terence Crawford. You know he doesn't work with Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford has recently made a statement that he's leaving Top Rank. And he's telling people that, hey, he doesn't need to work with me for me to give him props, which is good. But if no, Floyd, of course, there was more to that. When I was 15 years old, I could have fought for world titles. But I think if Floyd and Terence Crawford got together, that would be, I'm curious to see how that would go. I'm curious to see how or what Floyd could do on the money team to bring that to fruition, to give him those fights he wanted, because there's only really one fight that we want to see at welterweight that people are craving for, and that's the Errol Spence fight. And based on what he's telling us, it's like, hey, Terence Crawford is over Errol Spence. He's better than Errol Spence. Errol Spence has done certain things in his career, but he's only been at one weight class. And I want to remind you of the pound for pound. It's the pound for pound of what you would do in the weight class if you were there. Okay, so the pound for pound, Floyd doesn't respect anybody that stays at one weight class. He didn't respect Muhammad Ali because he was a heavyweight. He didn't respect Golovkin because he never moved up to super middleweight or light heavyweight. So Floyd will look, and you can see why he would respect Terence Crawford, because Terence Crawford is doing the things that he did. Even though Floyd was smaller than Terence. Terence started at 135, Floyd started at 125. So, but nonetheless, Terence Crawford goes to a division and clears it out, you know, and he makes a lot of noise in that division, and he's at welterweight. And welterweight is the biggest of the little guys, okay, before you're going up to light middleweight and things like that, or super welterweight at 154 and all to 160 or what have you, because, you know, those are now bigger men in different weight classes, right? It's a different level. But it shows a lot of Floyd saying that he would like to work with Terence Crawford. So I think that's him, you know, putting that seed, planting that seed into the ground, that he would like to work with Terence Crawford, because, you know, Floyd's aware of what's going on. He's been there where Terence was. He's been where Terence is at. And I can imagine Floyd talking to Terence Crawford, you know, I was in your position. I was in your position a while back with Bob Arum, and I know Bob Arum, you know, you want the stars, and he only wants to give you the ceiling. If you with me and my crew, I could take you to the next stratosphere. I could take you to the stars. You want to go to Mars? So, but that's good. That's good. It's a good thing to hear Floyd Money Mayweather co-sign for Terence Crawford. And, you know, what does that mean for Errol Spence? Well, I think Errol Spence, you know, everybody's going to have their own ego. Everybody's going to have their own opinion. I think that I've always thought that Crawford has done more, and is more to his game than Errol Spence. Errol Spence is a very strong, powerful, big welterweight that is relentless. Okay, he reminds me of like Marvelous Marvin Hagler. A lot of people compare him to Sugar Ray. I don't. I compare him to more of Hagler because, you know, he's a come forward fighter and he's a very active fighter and he throws a lot of punches, and you have to be able to stop that guy, because if you don't, he's going to mow you over. You know, so that's the deal with Errol Spence. But someone like Terence Crawford can switch back and forth. That's an undisputed champion, you know, at 140 that wants to come to 147 to do the same thing. So if he's able to be undisputed 2 times, wow, that's an accomplishment. But what he's done, he's already superseded anything Errol Spence can do. Regardless if he was just in a weight division with some competitive guys, you have to do more than that. You know, not saying that he won't, he just hasn't as of now. Okay, so I want people to understand that before you're like, you an Errol Spence hater. You know, you're gonna get that anyway. What are you doing? But Mayweather co-signs for Terence Crawford. You guys tell me what you think of this new news concerning Floyd Money Mayweather and Terence Bud Crawford. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.